Backsteps are a fun technique that climbers use on vertical and overhanging walls. They help with three different things. They help us keep our weight more on top of our feet when we're on overhangs. They help us reach a little bit further, and they help us make better contact with the rock. So first we're going to talk about what a backstep is. Basically, I'm using my feet to turn my whole body into the root. So if I'm reaching with my right hand, I'm generally going to want to turn my right side into the wall. And I'm going to do that by turning my feet like so. That brings my right hip up against the wall. It also allows me to reach just a little bit further. If I want to reach with my left hand, I'll do the opposite and turn my feet the other way so I can get that same effect. On the wall, we can kind of see whenever we're looking at a hold, it's got a specific direction, right? So this guy kind of faces like this. And when I'm pulling on it, I don't want to be pulling in that same direction. I want to be pulling at about 90 degrees to that hold. So when I'm climbing straight onto it, if I do a back step, as we can see, I'm starting to actually pull against that hold a lot more and lock myself in. Now that we've talked about the basic position for a back step, I'd like to talk about a few of the points that'll make or break this technique. So first, we can think about how our feet work on the wall. And they can actually work for us in two different directions, right? So there's the normal position that we normally think of, and that's our feet pushing us up or down. But they can also be used to pull our body left or right, or forwards or back, in or away from the wall, right? And when we're doing that, the basic concept is kind of like thinking about two different animals. Either I'm thinking about a bull as it pulls at the ground before it's charging, right? This is like if I'm pulling my hip forwards with my foot, or I can kind of think of like a cat and the way they would claw at something. It's kind of that same concept. So as I'm going to do a back step, in this case we're going to talk about what it's like if I'm doing a right side back step. So if I'm doing a right side back step, like so, my body's turned this way, and my legs are broken into two different jobs, right? In this case, my right leg is doing two different things at once, in which it drives me upwards, but it's also pulling me into the wall. So the way I do that is I start by pointing the toe and really kind of clawing in and over that foot to get my hip into the wall. But you'll notice as you do that, it actually gets your body kind of loose because your hip has locked into the wall, but your shoulders aren't really held up by anything. And that's where the key foot in this situation comes in, right? The key foot is going to kind of draw this line where it's pushing into the wall, and that kind of causes this cup for your body, which brings your shoulder up and over that hip and allows you to drive with one big fluid motion, rather than feeling like you're two loose portions with your hips and your shoulders acting against each other. Things that we really want to avoid when we're doing a back step is keeping our feet too low. And what I mean by that is when we start a back step, we tend to find that having our feet kind of in a natural standing position is the best. However, when we take off for the hold, we'll find that we often end up overextended doing that. And so the answer to that is to start with your feet just a little bit more crunched underneath your body, so that as you go to do a hard move, you're actually in the most powerful position in the most difficult portion of that move. Finally, and most importantly, whenever we're doing a back step, we want to kind of pay attention to our spinal cord. If my right foot is behind this line that I'm drawing from my shoulder to my hip, I'll find that I actually can't pull my hip very well into the wall, and I won't be able to launch very far at all. So I definitely want to make sure that my driving foot stays underneath me or a tad bit in front of me, but never behind my spine.